Heather McDonald is the author of The Diversity Delusion, and she joins us tonight. Heather, nice to see you tonight. Are you surprised, having followed this whole line of argument for so many years and so closely, are you surprised that Pelosi and Biden, for that matter, are both being denounced as racist right now?
No, it's hilarious, Tucker. I mean, let's take a moment to just savor this moment when the left turns on itself. Yeah, the left turns on itself, wielding the exact weapons that it wields against everybody else, and accuses itself of racism. It's preposterous. But it's also a serious matter. I disagree slightly with you to say that people don't believe this. I think what we're witnessing is the most dangerous import from the academy into the real world. Students are taught from the moment they arrive on campus two things, and two things only reliably, which is that the most important thing about themselves is their group identity, defined reductively by gonads and melanin, and that racism and sexism based on those characteristics are the defining features of American society. Taught to believe that when they face any kind of disagreement, they reflexively accuse their ideological opponent of bigotry and hate. And that works wonderfully on a college campus. You accuse a president of racism, he immediately crumples and orders another $1 million in diversity bureaucracy. You accuse a corporation of racism, and it folds, as we saw with Nike and the preposterous claim that the Betsy Ross flag is racist. It works with politicians, with Biden repudiating his justified support for the '94 federal crime bill that saved thousands of minority lives. The question is it going to work on the rest of us? And if it does, Tucker, civil society is over, because this is a totalitarian power play. It is an attempt to shut down any kind of dialectical search for truth and to occupy the sole allowable ideological ground. And that's a recipe for a society to halt dead in its tracks and go in reverse.
Because it's not really an argument. I mean, no one's making the case. And by the way, this eliminates the need to make the case. You don't actually have to convince anybody of anything. If you're doing it to fight racism, it's a moral imperative, and everyone else can just shut up and obey.
You know, there's been political disagreements long before identity politics. People disagree. That is what America is about, that we have the right, we have the freedom to debate our opinions. The alternative to debate is violence. It is an act of narcissism to think that everything is about yourself, to immediately say, well, it must be because of my gender and race that I'm being disagreed with, and you must be a bigot to disagree with me. No, that is not the case. These are issues that deserve to be threshed out in the public forum. And again, if they are not, we are approaching a totalitarian state very quickly.
And so this is a much longer conversation, but in the short time, 30 seconds that we have, would you recommend what course of action for normal people? Ignore these slurs for the kind of cynical politics that they are? Or how should your average person fight back against this totalitarianism?
Well, the average person has to simply reject the racism charge. All of us have to start working on alternative explanations for our reality. Racism is no longer the predominant characteristic of America, if it ever was. It was a part of it. It was never the defining feature, but it certainly is not. This still remains a land of opportunity. The alternative explanation is that there are profound behavioral differences, choices that individuals make that determine social outcomes. We have to fight back against this narrative, Tucker, because if they win, we lose our civilization, we lose meritocracy, and we lose freedom.
Heather McDonald, Wise, thank you.
Thank you.